Whoa.
Big thanks to Moesta Barbecue for sponsoring this video.
I'm gonna make 2 patty melts and I'm gonna let you decide which one is best. Today I'm gonna be cooking 2 patty melt burgers and they're an all-time favorite, a classic. My kids absolutely love the grilled cheese sandwich with a little bit of meat on top of them, and it's great for a lunch, it's great for an in-between snack, and it should be very easy. So we're gonna start off by making the most easy and simple tasty version of a patty melt burger. The first thing that I'm gonna do is give you my version of the patty melt burger that I make for my kids when they come out of school hungry. They want food, they want it fast, they want it cheap. I want it cheap, they want it fast, and it should be tasty. That's basically whatever they desire. They want it now and they want it tasty. So I'm gonna be using some bread, and this is pre-sliced white bread. Very, very cheap. I'm gonna be using some butter, and that's probably gonna be the first step because I'm gonna need a source of oil in my pan. Just a little bit will do. I'm gonna grab a handful ground meat, put it in the pan, and then smash it. Sprinkle on a little bit of salt as a seasoning, and then I'm just gonna wait for it to build up a crust because I do want it to be nice and tasty. You know, those little bits that crunch up on the sides, those are the best part. So a little bit overcooked, no problem. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so good. Once the edges of the meat start browning and getting that beautiful caramelization, I'm gonna flip it over. Look at that. That is one beautiful smashed patty melt burger. Of course, this is going to require cheese. What is a patty melt without supermarket cheese? My kids absolutely love this stuff. If I put it on anything, they will eat it. Of course, 2 slices are always better than 1. And while that cheese is melting, I'm gonna put on a slice of bread. Let's flip this around and look at this monster. In the meantime, that bread at the bottom is crunching up. I'm gonna put another slice on. Gonna give it a little squeeze. Check the bottom. See if it's brown. Oh yeah. Time to flip. Perfect. That's the patty melt my children want. A simple after school quick snack. Looks absolutely freaking delicious. Now let's do a version of the patty melt smash burger that I personally really like. This is the Moesta Bandit. I'm gonna put in some fire starters, a little bit of kindle, and start my base fire. Then I'm gonna load it up with firewood and create a big fire so that my cast iron ring becomes extremely hot. While my Moesta Bandit is getting up to temperature, I'm gonna chop fine some garlic. I'm gonna add that to a bowl. Chop parsley in, add 100 grams of butter, a pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. Mix that all up. I'm gonna slice some onions. Alle vingers er nog aan. And these fresh sliced white onions are gonna go on my plate right there, my big cast iron grilling surface. I'm gonna put some butter on. I'm gonna let that butter melt. Sit the onions on top. Ground on a little bit of pepper. A pinch of salt. These beautiful sweet white onions are gonna caramelize and turn even sweeter. Once they pick up the golden brown color, you know you make the perfect, rich, creamy fire roasted onions. I bought some fresh bread from the baker and this stuff is freaking amazing. A crunchy exterior, soft white bread in the middle. And the bread that I used from the first patty melt is a lot thinner. Now you might think, wow, that's great, a lot thinner. I like that better. But the problem is, all of those juices that come out of that burger, that juicy burger with cheese, well, it needs somewhere to go and you get that soggy patty melt and that's why I like a big, thick slice of bread. I'm gonna butter this up with the garlic butter, get it on both sides. These are gonna go on my cast iron ring and I'm gonna crunch them up. Wow, look at that color. Beautiful golden brown. Of course I want to crust on both sides, so I'm gonna flip it around. Look at that, golden brown means delicious. Look at that, beautiful golden brown, screaming hot. I'm gonna set that aside, and if I put it aside, I'm gonna mount it sideways up to each other like a wedge. This way the bread can evaporate all of that moisture and we keep that crunchy exterior. This is our homemade minced meat. This minced meat was ground up from trimmings of a brisket. My cameraman turned it into this behind the scenes using nothing other than a house kitchen machine with an attachment for grinding meat. The ratio of fat to meat of this stuff is incredible. This is 80% meat, 20% fat, and the texture is nice and coarse. It's gonna make all the difference on my patty melt, and it's actually my little secret. I'm gonna put it on the cast iron ring, smash it with a lot of force, and you can see that I'm making this burger at exactly the same spot where I fried my bread, picking up the garlic and parsley that was left on the cast iron ring. And what I'm looking for now is a beautiful crust on the outside of this delicious smash burger. Of course, I'm gonna season this with some salt and pepper. Now, if you're cooking this on a stovetop with a cast iron pan, then normally you would just let it sit, build up that crust. The inside of the ring is hotter than the outside of the ring, so I gotta rotate it, move it around, and build up that perfect crust. I gotta work for it. Once the perfect crust is achieved, it's time for the flip. And of course, this patty melt deserves cheese. It's gotta be patty melt with the cheese, and not that cheap stuff. I want that rich and creamy Gouda cheese. And I recommend buying whatever cheese is local and tastes the best. I'm gonna put the hood on and let that cheese melt. I'm gonna reheat the onions, because of course I'm gonna need them nice and warm. And then the onions go on the patty melt. Look at that. Whoa. And there he comes. The perfect patty melt smash burger. Put the top on, and that's how I like it. So now you know the difference. I kind of feel guilty now that I see it so close by. My kids love this version. They love the patty melt that is simple, that is tasty, and that is made with inexpensive stuff. The total amount for this patty melt was €2.10. And the main expense here was the minced meat, which was still very, very cheap. Now this one is a totally other story. This one was €13.30 to make. Now I know that's absolutely crazy for something that's supposed to be like a fast, quick snack, and it took quite a while compared to this one. I had this done under 30 seconds and I had to make this one, and it took me more than 10 minutes to make. And it is made out of a beautiful brisket, so that meat is crazy expensive. Making that burger, not really a burger. And I was thinking of a quote of George Motz. Yes, the one. And he said, "This is a burger for the guy who forgot to buy burger buns." And with that in mind, which one is the best one? The cheap one that got the spirit, or the crazy one that is made with exclusive things and tastes freaking amazing? It's all up to you.